the future!
So, you think you're an 80s fan? Okay, MacGyver, can you handle this? It's I Love the 80s, and this is 1985. The flicks, the fashions, the trends, the TV,
Back suplex!
the tunes. A totally awesome year that gave us these burning questions. Did George want to get it on with Tootie?
Honestly, I kept waiting for them to give George jungle fever.
That's beautiful.
Is it so wrong to hook up with your future son?
Is that weird? I think that's weird.
And can big hair get you into heaven?
The bigger the hair, the closer to God.
The answers to those questions, plus Pee-wee and some horny seniors.
You got a boner too?
Because you love the 80s, because you're still guzzling down wine coolers. Admit it.
Shut up!
This is 1985.
I love the 80s. I love the 80s. WrestleMania, Hulk Hogan, Mr. T, Superfly, Jimmy Snuka, we reign supreme. Can you dig that?
I remember Saturday mornings watching, the WrestleMania every single weekend.
It's like the highest rated thing in the world.
Back suplex, well executed.
I did WrestleMania in Detroit, and I figured it would just be a fun thing to do. 90,000 people, 60,000 of who were women with blue hair screaming, "Kill him."
Favorite wrestler, always, of course, Hulk Hogan.
And this can be none other than you-know-who. World Wrestling Federation champion, there he is. The Incredible Hulk.
Hulk Hogan was just the best. Here's this guy, ripped up, blonde hair.
Maybe just those beautiful golden locks.
I was a Hulkamaniac, and I had the little headband and everything. And I remember Hulk Hogan used to have holes in his back of his shirt. And I mean, my mom cut the shirts, and I'd have holes like that on the back of my shirt. I was like in 6th grade or something.
WrestleMania, I really liked Randy Macho Man Savage.
Because he always seemed like he was on the can.
Andre the Giant, 7 foot, 400-pound beast, and Roddy Piper.
He used to wear a skirt, but he was like the coolest guy who wore a skirt.
I was one of those kids, like 8 years old, going, "It's fake!" And everybody's going, "Shut up!"
The leapfrog, the beauty. Hip lock.
Oh, I used to get mad because my dad used to tease me and said, "You know it's fake, right?" And I go, "No, it's not." And so my mom would give him a hard time. Quit telling him that. And I'd want to cry because they "No, it's real, it's real."
Wham! Slam on that guy. And you're going, oh, it's got to hurt somebody. I don't care if I know it's fake or not. Someone's getting hurt.
Just crushed him. Oh, my God. And a giant smash. It's over. It's over just like that. I love 85.
For every hack comic who needs a closing bit, you went to MacGyver. MacGyver, this guy could take a plank and make a bang.
MacGyver can make a nuclear missile with a toothpick.
I think it was really clever to show that you can get out of really hairy situations by using your brain.
Don't tell me you know how to make a bomb out of a stick of chewing gum.
Why, you got some?
He was the rock and roll roadie, the man who can take a thing of duct tape and whip you up a skateboard.
Well, as Latinos, we were the first ones that made a radio out of a coconut.
I still use the term today, if you're going to fix something, we got to MacGyver that.
Come on, MacGyver.
It became sort of this interesting global common knowledge thing.
He became like a saying, you're going to MacGyver your way out of this?
Yeah, what you think you're going to MacGyver your way out of this ass whooping?
Richard Dean is a really good guy.
Well, he was a very rough and ride 'em, hunky, macho kind of guy. He was so cute. MacGyver was so hot. He looked like James Bond. Oh, MacGyver!
I feel like James Bond.
If you could pick one person to be on a deserted island with you, it would be a girl named MacGyver.
Hey.
The guy could kill you with a paperclip.
No, he would never kill anyone, did he?
The man had ethics, and he didn't need a gun. He could build one out of a big pen and a couple of Tic Tacs. Oh, my neck is fresh.
But from what I understand, Richard Dean Anderson was packing a pistol in his pants, if you know what I mean. Right? He didn't need to carry a gun.
I love 85. We're sending you back to the future.
The best movie in the 80s, which is also the best movie of all time, is Back to the Future. For some reason, I can watch that movie over and over and never get sick of it.
Are you telling me that you built a time machine?
of a DeLorean?
God, I don't remember how fast the car had to be going to send you back to the future. How fast did it have to be going?
Wasn't it 188?
3,726 miles an hour. You need to go 85, right? And they get up to 88, or do you need to go 88?
The DeLorean had to travel at exactly 88 miles an hour to fling you back into time.
When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious.
And all of a sudden you see flame.
What did I tell you? 88 miles per hour!
The license plate is like, shh.
I played Lorraine Baines McFly.
And he could sleep in my room.
I gotta go.
And she was such a character. I mean, she was so horny. It was great.
Whoa, wait a minute. Doc, are you trying to tell me that my mother got the hots for me? Whoa, this is heavy.
Is it wrong to say that my favorite scene in Back to the Future was when his mom almost kisses him? Is that weird?
This is all wrong. But when I kiss you, it's like I'm kissing
Feels like kissing my brother.
my brother.
I'm telling you, the movie would have made a lot more money if Leia Thompson had gotten it on with her son.
If your son's Michael J., you're gonna hit on him. Come on now.
Michael J., is he ever a fox? Am I right?
Forget, James Dean, forget Brando. Those guys have nothing. Marty McFly is the coolest character that ever lived.
Whoa.
Deja video.
You know I'm a dreamer, but my heart's of gold. I had to run away high, so I wouldn't come home.
This is where Motley Crue showed their soft side.
I remember thinking the ultimate in cheese.
The best part of that video is the part where it goes like that, and they're slow motion doing side to side thing like that.
I think that Tommy Lee's playing the piano in a jockstrap.
And at the end of it, where there's like this big kind of rock ballad thing, and Tommy Lee goes.
Totally.
Goonies.
When I think of Goonies, I think of my wife. She loves that movie. When Goonies come on, she shuts things down. My kids would have a shh. The Goonies is on.
The Goonies was about this hidden treasure on a ship, and it was a team of kids that went into this well and discovered One-Eyed Willie,
and they get like caught up with these outlaws who are like holding this strange creature captive.
I was scared when I saw Swamp. I was like, I'm so sorry. No wonder they put him in the basement. I mean, it's so scary. But you felt sorry for him because the people that he was surrounded by, his family, was very mean to him.
Making a lovable character out of the like psychotic and deformed is just that's nice, actually.
Rocky Road.
I saw Goonies in the movie theater and then immediately started looking for buried treasure. The chances of there being a pirate ship in the creek behind my house, I know it was fairly slim, but I kept looking.
Holy Mary, Mother of God. Look at that.
And of course Anne Ramsey as the nasty old lady.
The only thing we serve is tongue.
I liked her. She was funny.
Fantastically funny.
Data, he was my favorite guy in that movie because he was inventive and he had all these cool things. I wanted to have all those cool gadgets.
Chunk was the funniest character ever, and he was always like screaming and yelling and like mortified and hilarious.
You gotta do the truffle shuffle.
Oh boy. Do I have to do it?
Do it.
I like to think that Chunk and Sloth became best friends and they have an apartment somewhere in New York now and they just hang out like the dudes on Friends.
I love 85.
I'm going in.
Coming up, you didn't think you'd make it through an 80s show without seeing Andrew McCarthy, did you?
Hi, Billy.
Hey, Wilford, is that a jar of Quaker Oats in your pants, or are you just glad to see us?
You got a boner too?
And mall hair confessions.
This is me in junior high. This is my hair.
Next on I Love the 80s, 1985. But first, the makeout songs of 1985.
Ladies and gentlemen, I, Lionel Richie, give you the makeout songs of 1985.
I'm never gonna dance again. Guilty feet have got no rhythm.
Careless Whisper by Wham.
He's a smooth operator.
Smooth Operator by Sade.
See, I'm crazy for you.
And Crazy for You by Madonna. The makeout songs of 1985. Do you feel the love? It's time to start.
Makeout songs of 85. I love the 80s. 8 of 85.
I'm Brett Michaels, and I bring you the babes of 1985. Kelly LeBrock, Weird Science Babe. Kelly McGillis, Amish Babe. Rosanna Arquette, Madonna Wannabe Babe. Grace Slick, We Built This City Babe. And Tipper Gore, Please Don't Ban My Album Babe. And there you have it, the babes of 1985, and I ought to know.
Babes of 85. I love the 80s.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I own it. I own it.
Man down!
I own it on video. I watch it all the time. I think he's hilarious.
He's a thief! He stole my bike, you liar! I swear I didn't do it, Dad!
He loses his bike, and he goes around. Do you remember the woman in the Alamo?
My name is Tina.
Excuse me, Tina, but could we go straight to
I tell you what, let's hold all questions until the end of the tour, okay?
And then he finally says, you know, he's looking for his bike in the basement of the Alamo, and she's like,
There's no basement at the Alamo.
I saw Pee-wee's Big Adventure at the YMCA. I remember we all discussed his bike for a week because it was dumb looking. He had this weird 50s bike with streamers on it. What the hell is that? Is that a gas tank on that thing?
Or when he goes to save all the animals and he comes out with a handful of snakes and he just like...
Believe it or not, I actually still know some of my lines from that movie.
We are ready whenever you are.
Doesn't it look like I'm ready? I am always ready. I have been ready since first call.
I am ready. Roll.
I don't know why I still remember that.
okay, my Pee-wee imitation.
Come on, you can't have a shot of tequila or 2 or 3 nowadays and not do the Pee Wee Herman tequila dance, you know? Come on.
I love 85.
Oh, wait, Small Wonder. Is that the robot girl?
I'm a mechanical device. Wow!
Okay, she's a robot. She's little, 11. Like, that's just wrong. Why are you having a 10-year-old daughter robot? That aside, I was sold.
I actually auditioned for that. And then you think back and you're like, thank you that I didn't get that part.
It was just so insane that someone decided to put this on television, that this Vicky was a robot.
Nobody knows that the little girl who talks like a robot is really a robot.
I think Small Wonder would short circuit every once in a while. I'm not kidding, like she'd mess up or repeat herself.
I can fix it, Dad. I'm okay.
It was some kid playing her, and she wasn't Laurence Olivier. I mean, she was a little kid.
She kind of spoke like this.
I'm fantastic.
It was so ridiculous.
She's either a robot or she's crazy.
It's really very sad.
Like, those people were high when they came up with that show. But hardly as high as the programmers put it on the air.
I bought my first real 6-string.
Summer of '69, I always thought, dude, you're so full of shit. You must have been 4. What year? 69, brother. You know, and aren't you from like Alberta, Canada? Do they have the 5 and dime? They don't have dimes, they have loonies.
Brian was the Britney Spears of rock and roll back then.
We went to go see Journey and Bryan Adams. Bryan Adams starts climbing scaffolding, and there he is right in front of me. I'm like, whoa. He was all sweaty, you know. I touched his arm. I was like, oh, I touched his arm.
I think Bryan Adams was so popular in the 80s because he was Canadian.
I love 85.
I had the biggest Jersey Mole hair that there was.
Hola, yo soy Daisy.
I love the big hair thing. The bigger the hair, the closer to God.
I can safely say that me, myself, have personally helped to induce a few god-awful hairstyles.
Okay, I know a lot of people don't do this, but I'm seriously representing right here. This is me in junior high. This is my hair.
There's different variations of the mole hair look. You gotta have a blow dryer, and you gotta have the Aquanet and a fork.
You need a brush, you need the curling iron.
And then all you do is you iron out the bangs to get them nice and crispy, and then you're done.
Electric Avenue, and then we'll take it higher.
When you get a good flip, spray the crap out of it.
We'd go to the bathroom, and you wouldn't even have to bring your own hairspray or anything, because what we would do is we would stand behind all the girls, do our hair, and catch the residue of all the hairspray coming back from the mirror. And it actually worked. I perfected it to the point where it only took like 20 minutes to get my huge hair.
I love preparing at like 6:30 in the morning before school. I think this was like 20 minutes, 15 minutes.
It is an awesome look. It is an awesomely sexy look.
I used to tease my hair so high that I'd get in the car, it would hit the top of the roof. That's when I knew, okay, I was a little overboard.
That was a rough time for America. You know, everybody wanted to look like they were from Jersey.
I remember when I first started working at MTV, I was still trying to do the big hair. And the minute everybody left the room, I would start teasing it up again and spraying it and go in front of the camera and they'd go, what happened?
Tremenda fiesta.
It was hard for me to part with the big hair.
Wicked.
Hey, how about Fletch?
Fletch was one of the greatest movies ever.
Fletch falls into that category, you know, of just the great films with the great one-liners that you know that just keep popping up.
Can I borrow your towel for a sec? My car just hit a water buffalo.
I'll have a Bloody Mary and a steak sandwich and a steak sandwich, please.
From the beginning to the end, the one-liners in that movie are great.
Have you ever seen a spleen that large? No, not since breakfast.
May I help you, Dr.
Oh, it's me, Dr. Rosenfetus. I'm just here to check out Dan Wick's file.
Fletch was hilarious.
You know, if I did some sit-ups in the morning or bent over like this, I'd probably feel 100% better. Moon River. Whew. Thank you, Doc. You ever serve time?
It's kind of a humor that you get or you don't.
You know, one of my favorite scenes of Fletch is when he comes home and he goes to sleep and his dream is he's playing for the Lakers. And I think they say he's 6'3", 6'6" with the afro.
He is actually 6'5" with the afro 6'9".
That's just hilarious.
I love when he's G. Gordon Liddy.
Name's Liddy. Gordon Liddy.
Mr. Nugent. Ted Nugent.
Ted Nugent. He introduces himself. That's his cover name, Ted Nugent.
I'm Harry S. Truman. I'm Don Corleone.
Sugar Mr. Poon? Don who?
John Cocktoast.
It's a beautiful name.
Well, it's Scotch Romanian.
Odd combination.
Yeah, well, so are my parents.
He wasn't afraid to look silly. He wasn't afraid to throw it all out there. And he had a really nice sarcasm inside his silliness that made him feel really smart even when he was being a goof.
Chevy Chase is all about timing, and when he was good, it was about timing, and then when he did his talk show, that was bad timing.
Really?
It was back when Chevy Chase, I'm sorry, Chevy, was just still so cool.
Thank you very much, Sammy.
I love 85.
Coming up, bad hair days on The Facts of Life.
I like Tootie and her little mushroom haircut.
What do you mean?
The drink of choice for 80s wussies.
Bartles and James was the Zima of its day.
And a dark time for rap.
I can dance, you will see. The others, they all learn from me.
Next on I Love the 80s, 1985.
Long on.
But first, log on to VH1.com for everything 80s. Artist info, photo galleries, CD purchases, and great 80s trivia games.
I love the 80s. Hunks of 85.
Hi, I'm Tracy Elizabeth Lords, and I bring you the hunks of 1985. Sylvester Stallone. Kick and call me butt in Russia and Vietnam hunk.
Nasty
William the Refrigerator Perry. Supersized hunk. Robert Redford. Still hunky after all these years hunk. Jim McMahon. Headband wearing hunk. And Pee Wee Herman. Take a picture to last longer hunk. There they are, the men of 1985, 100% USDA prime hunk.
Hunks of 85. I love the 80s.
1985 was the year of the Chicago Bears, where they almost went undefeated, and they sang the Super Bowl Shuffle.
I'm from Chicago, so back home, it was big. I just remember how dead they were in the back. They were like, "We are the Bears, shuffling crew, shuffling on down, do it for you." Right? Is that how the song went?
So bad, we know it's good. Blowing your mind like we knew we would.
Oh, that was horrible. Good night. That was painful to watch.
None of them could dance.
Very awkward dancing.
I remember Willie Galt coming out there talking about how fast he was and trying to groove, and it's just,
whew. It was more like spasms. It was spasmodic. They couldn't dance. Couldn't sing.
I thought the football players were holding back. I'm sure all of them had a lot of musical talent, and they just didn't want to show it off. You know, they didn't want to flaunt it.
I'm the punky QB known as McMahon.
You got your Jim McMahon,
The guy with too much testosterone and too much self-confidence.
who had light sensitivity, had to wear sunglasses all the time, wore headbands that said Frankie says relax on them.
I just remember the fridge, rapping.
I can dance, you will see. The others, they all learn from me.
400-pound behemoth that they would roll like a bowling ball into the end zone from the 2-yard line from time to time.
you know, Walter Payne with the Jerry curl. And
well, they call me Sweetness, and I like to dance. Running the ball is like making more mans.
Well-groomed mustache that man had with the snippety doodle.
The choreography is amazing. It's vintage Fosse. I'm surprised it didn't make it to Broadway because it's so gay.
We're not here to start no trouble. We're just here to do the Super Bowl shuffle. I love 85.
Hello. Bartles and James became like the Crown Royal of wine coolers.
The drink was yummy.
Bottles, James? Oh, fresh, tasty wine, cooler.
We have been asked what makes the new Bartles and James Premium Blush Wine Cooler so exciting.
And they'd go, hey, come over, man, we're having a party. Now I want to go, hey, we got Bartles and James. Like, hey, what? I'll be over there right now.
If I was at a party now, so I'm like, dude, I got the Bartles and James. I would have gotten my ass kicked.
I remember drinking Bartles and James coolers, listening to Just Can't Get Enough by Depeche Mode, just to see what they tasted like.
Ed thinks it is the perfect choice if you're having a party, and he hopes you will invite a lot of friends because he has certainly picked a lot of fruit.
Nobody would pour it in a glass because you wanted them to see you.
Bartles and James.
Bartles and James was the Zima of its day.
Yeah, boy, 17, 16, you know, trying to score wine coolers.
Wine coolers wasn't a dude drink back in the 80s.
Ed has come up with a sweetness scale. On the sweet end is Ed's Aunt Ruth. On the dry end is the Mojave Desert.
Made you feel like an old man. That's why they had the old men drink Bartles and James and feel like an old man the next morning.
Those two guys always reminded me of the two guys that sat in the balcony on the Muppet Show, but now they're drunk.
Have I flogged the dead horse of Bottles and James? Being an unmanly drink? Enough?
And they always ended it with, and thanks for your support.
Thank you for your support.
And thank you for your support.
And we thank you for your support.
Were those guys lovers?
I love 85.
I loved the movie Cocoon.
Don Amici, Jessica Tandy, Wilford Brimley. Yeah, they were all in that movie. They were all great in that movie.
It's about aliens coming to Earth One being Big Fat Brian Dennehy, another being Raquel Welch's daughter.
We'd like to rent your boat.
What? Steve Gutenberg, who was great, and I wonder what happened to him, because I see him around once in a while. I like Steve Gutenberg.
It was also about old people, older people, and we don't really get to see that a lot.
Now, you went to the damn doctor. Now, what did he say? Doctors don't know everything.
I love older people. I love old people. I think they're so cute.
I love the scene where they're all swimming and just look like they're having such a wonderful time.
All of them jumped in the pool, took off their skivvies. Great stuff.
Oh, Jessica Tandy naked. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
From a kid standpoint, it was a little gross to see old people naked, but you know, it was a great scene because they were having fun.
I just remember Wilford Brimley talking about getting a boner.
You got a boner too? Blue Steel. Cat couldn't scratch it.
I thought I was the only one.
They got the juice, and then they're like young people, and they have sex. It's like Viagra. They got Viagra.
The thing that I always remember about Cocoon is when, what's his name, the big Brian Denny, when he's talking to Steve Gutenberg or something, and he pulls his eyelid down, and the light comes out. Like, oh, great scene.
The special effects are really not cool looking today. Like, they do not stand the test of time.
The whole theme of staying young forever, I thought that was pretty good. The only disadvantage is having to stay in a little cocoon at the bottom of someone's pool for way too long.
May the force be with you!
I think I may have cried in that movie, honestly, to be honest with you. I think I may have cried at the end of that movie. Again, I've got a thing for older people. I think they're so cute.
Video. In the dark, I'd like to read his mind.
I love the song Voices Carried by Till Tuesday.
But I'm frightened of the things I might find.
Amy Mann's braid. And she had a real long braid in the back.
Amy Mann was the sexiest chick with a rat tail on the scene in 1985.
She was one of the first to stay a gorgeous, strong, beautiful girl and still have a punky edge.
Yeah, so sad. And I didn't even know what it was about. I remember listening to that song going, okay, I'm not supposed to say something, but I don't know what. Which pretty much defines my relationships with women.
I thought the song was he was beating on her, and she was sort of embarrassed about it, or he was saying, you know, shut up, bitch, because what she's carrying, you shut up. That's what I thought it was.
Good morning, children of the 80s. This is your Woodstock, and it's long overdue.
Give money to Africa? Great idea. 2 big rock concerts, raise awareness on the plight of Africa in America and Europe. Great idea.
What is happening there is so disastrous that if I didn't do something knowing that I can do something, then I would feel endless guilt for the rest of my life.
Oh, Bob Geldof, right.
My only problem with Live Aid and all that was Bob Geldof, who tried to martyr himself for putting on 2 rock concerts and hanging out with a bunch of third world people and then going back to a Hilton.
There was a big hit of those, like at the time, like Live Aid and all those kind of things, and then it just kind of went, like stars have better things to do with their time. Like I did that in '85, and then I invested in canned food drives after that.
All right, where's Tina?
One of the performances that really resonated for me was when Tina Turner and Mick Jagger got together.
You look so bad every time I see your face. You put me in a state. Let's take a shot.
Phil Collins flew from London to Philadelphia on the Concorde so he could be at both, proving once again that Phil Collins is the coolest human being in the world.
Good evening, Philadelphia. I was in England this afternoon.
That just blew me away. I guess that's probably the wrong thing to be blown away with. He's in England. Well, now he's in New York.
I honestly can't remember what took place. I don't even remember what we played, really.
But it was really cool to see, like, U2 up there. a very exciting time when it was started to actually be cool for rock and roll to come out and support bigger causes than itself.
I love 85. Coming up, what's Elwood Blues doing here?
You have all these giants of music, and then you have Dan Aykroyd standing in the back. Who invited Dan Aykroyd?
What's Eddie doing here?
Eddie Murphy was the original J-Lo.
And dousing St. Elmo's fire.
The Brat Pack. Okay. Pretty people with problems.
Shut up!
Next on I Love the 80s, 1985. But first, this public service announcement.
Students across the country are banding together to do something about America's #1 teenage killer, driving drunk.
This is a contract signed between you and your parents, and it can save your life.
And I promise to call you if I ever have too much to drink, or if I'm with someone who shouldn't be driving.
And you agree to find a safe way home if you shouldn't be driving.
Make the agreement that can save lives.
I love the 85.
Hello! Weird Al Yankovic here. Let's take a look at how the world has changed since 1985. Hip soft drinks. Then, new Coke. Now, vanilla Coke. Pro wrestling. Then, Hulk Hogan. Now, The Rock. Not a bad deal.
And now, 85. I love the 80s.
You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life. Yeah, the facts of life.
You gotta grow and show you're going. Now you know about the facts of life. Da da da.
The facts of life.
Did somebody order room service?
So you've got Charlotte Ray.
With her, what is she? Like a bad Katharine Hepburn.
Joe and Tootie and Blair and Natalie.
I think I identified with Joe because she was just cool.
Sorry I'm late. I had to get the grease out from underneath my fingernails.
I loved her because she was dirty. All the other girls were clean and she was dirty.
She could fix cars. She could kick a little ass, you know. And she was always jacking Blair. I love that because, you know, everybody hated Blair with the hair dryer.
They got into polite TV half-hour resolvable situations involving boys and cakes and algebra.
I'm not that kind of girl. You can ask any guy I've dated. I'm a tease.
I like Tootie and her little mushroom haircut.
Growing up on television, you know, certainly has some disadvantages when you're going through puberty for all the world to see.
I remember when Tootie started really getting them tooties.
What do you mean?
I remember George Clooney being on The Facts of Life.
Hi. Stupid me, I forgot my keys. No!
This is where you insert the clip of George Clooney walking on the set. And everybody goes, oh, George Clooney had feathered hair.
That's beautiful.
George played George, and he was our neighbor and a handyman. Honestly, I kept waiting for them to give George jungle fever, and it never happened.
Deja video.
Girl, I can't understand it. Why you wanna hurt me?
I remember the music video because it was Eddie kind of doing mild Stevie Wonder head moves.
Party All the Time had that electronic sound that was kind of new wave when people were still doing this.
And doing a lot of clapping.
He came to me and I wrote a song called Party All the Time, which went #1 across the board, and I was very proud of him and proud of that record.
My girl wants to party all the time, party all the time, party all the time.
I remember Rick James kind of starts out in the background of the video, and then by the end of it, he's practically, you know, stepping on Eddie Murphy's face with a big boot.
Eddie Murphy was the original J-Lo.
The Eddie Murphy perfume was in the works.
Sorry, Eddie, I love you, but I don't want to party with you. Not like that.
Wicked.
The Brat Pack. Okay. Pretty people with problems.
Shut up.
Breakfast Club. That's a great movie.
So it's sort of social. Demented and sad, but social.
Where the kids were in detention.
You know, detention wasn't just for thugs, at least not in my high school.
You had the punk person, and you had the preppy person, and the geeky person.
And the goth chick that was all freaky and weird, and put the Parmesan from her hair onto the picture. There was snow, remember that? That was insane.
Judd Nelson.
What's that?
Sushi.
Sushi?
He had large nostrils. He could probably put a quarter in his nose.
The moment where Molly Ringwald puts the lipstick in her cleavage and does her lips, that's a wonderful moment.
That was great, Claire.
If you look at like St. Elmo's Fire versus Breakfast Club, certain characters have these internal problems.
I remember Demi Moore's character getting really depressed and sitting in a room.
I'm going in.
Hi, Billy.
I just love that Demi without breasts was like it's like Samson after the haircut.
My favorite Brat Packer, absolutely Rob Lowe. Oh, he was so fine.
He was your typical guy that wants to quit life and become a musician.
I guess, everybody liked, Rob Lowe because they wanted to play saxophone with their collar up.
He played the premarital sax.
Do you believe in premarital sex?
The Brat Pack was pretty cool. The movies they were in, I thought were good. They had good plots. They had great soundtracks. And they represented sort of every type of person.
They just don't make them like that anymore. They don't. Now I'm starting to sound dated, and I don't care. Because I've lived this life, and I lived through the 80s, and these movies were they were your life, man. They were life on film,
See you next Saturday.
Yeah.
I love 85.
Big Low, it was fun. It was wild. It was momentary.
I think there was no limit to the amount of attention you wanted to bring to yourself in the 80s, so there was nothing that was inappropriate.
Even Grandma could get down with some Day-Glow socks.
My favorite colors are Day-Glow colors, especially when they glow in the dark under the ultraviolet light. It's like, whoa.
For a short time, Paul Stanley was wearing some kind of neon spandexy tight stuff. So I was kind of into that a little bit for a while.
I mean, you put on your Day-Glow outfit, you felt kind of hip, and then you looked at one of your friends and his or her Day-Glow outfit, and you went, wow, they look terrible. And then it didn't take you very long to figure out that you looked terrible too.
I remember the message t-shirts. Was Choose Life one of the slogans?
You'd see those kids coming with the Choose Life shirts, and you're like, ugh.
It sort of rings of anti-abortion activism, doesn't it?
Wake me up before you go to the abortion clinic, because I'm going to stop you.
I don't think they had strong political convictions. It was definitely a style moment just to wear gigantic leathers.
Big baggy shirts. Everything was ill-fitting.
Frankie Goes to Hollywood is trying to use it to market themselves, and they didn't obviously use it enough.
Gave you a good excuse to go look at the back of somebody if they had a nice tush. Like Frankie says, and you'd have to go, check out the butt, make like you read real slow and goes, relax. Thanks for the advice. Who the f is Frankie?
Totally.
Oh yeah, I remember Pound Puppies. I did have these.
I had about 3. One was a baby, black and brown. The other one was white with brown spots, and the other one was all tan.
I had the little one with the brown ears and the little white belly and the light brown body. He was adorable.
Poor little Pound Puppies. They had no one to love them. Pound Puppy, you were sad and lonely.
They were cute. He's a cute little dog. He really is. He's got those puppy dog eyes. I don't know. It was a very comforting thing.
It's good to just play around with little Pound Puppies. I'm like, I have a little dog that I don't really have to take out and feed or anything, but he's there anyway.
It's called the Pound Puppy, meaning, hey, these are puppies from the pound, right? I mean, that's the subtext of the Pound Puppy. We got millions of them, and they can't all be saved. Won't you help us?
Pound Puppy, you're my one and only puppy love.
I love 85. Coming up, one of the most monumental music events of the century. And the pissed off people who didn't get to go. Next on I Love the 80s 1985. But first, Mr. and Ms. 1985.
Look at me. It's the Dice Man with the moment you've all been waiting for. Time to name Mr. and Ms. 1985. Thrilling, ain't it? He was the guy who said to Stallone in Rocky IV, I must break you. She, on the other hand, was the chick who said to Stallone after she married him, I will break you. And proceeded to do just that. Dolph Lundgren and Brigitte Nielsen. Mr. and Ms. 1985. Two nice-looking guys, huh?
Absolutely.
Mr. and Mrs. 85. I love the 85.
I'm Soleil Moonfry. Here's a look at some of 1985's very special births. Zach Hansen, Air Jordans, Frankie Muniz, Lee Press on Nails, and VH1. There it is, the miracle of life, 80s style.
Born in 85. I love the 80s.
There comes a time when we heed a certain call.
Harold Belafonte calls on the phone to say that we have an epidemic happening in Africa and thought it was time for us to get involved. I said, I'm there. I'd love to be a part of it. Let's put it together.
It was almost mind-boggling to see all of those different huge stars from different compartments of music all in one room together.
I remember the first thing I thought was, how could they do this without Prince?
Prince was big in 85, right?
And it was huge. It was actually a good song. I thought it was a good song.
For people my age, that was the pantomime for singing for a while. This is it.
If you just hold on,
That was the best part.
the burn upon a burn. But if you just believe, there's no way we can fall.
When I saw the We Are the World video, I was pissed off that I wasn't asked to do it. Other than that, it was great.
I know I wasn't invited to sing on it. Maybe I had bad vibes or something.
When they turn the mic over to Springsteen and he puts on the boss face, that huge jaw that comes out, and on the sin and windy in the dynamo, we're gonna get a yeah. You're like, there he goes, doing the boss thing. Is Dylan on there? Here's like these two old, gnarly guys coming from soul, and then there's all these 80s rockers behind them with the hair like all kind of
You have all these giants of music, and then you have Dan Aykroyd standing in the back. Who invited Dan Aykroyd?
We needed Dan. That voice.
That was such a night. Oh my God, I was there. And it was just such a great experience. I can say I spent the night with Bruce Springsteen. I spent the night with Michael Jackson. I spent the night with Lionel Richie, you know.
It became just what we tried for, an anthem.
Remember they had like all the heavy metal guys united and they did a thing called like Hearing Aid?
Sometime in the night when you're feeling the cold, take a look at the sky above.
We're stars! We are magic in the night! Remember that? Okay, probably not. It was like, okay, enough with the food aid, you know. I'll feed the people if you guys will stop singing.
I love 85.
God soul.
I sure hope so. And I refuse to let you go.
That was the ball.
We do. VH1 Soul Sunday.
Let's see if we can bring some of that magic back tonight.
With the premiere of Alicia Keys' Ultimate Albums.
You give me butterflies.
She's got that soul power. VH1 Soul Sunday.
Sunday at 3. What?
This Sunday, starting at 3, 2 Central. Only on VH1.